All right, welcome to Gravit Design. This is going to be our first tutorial where I'm going to show you how to set up the initial workspace and how to get into Gravit Design, of course. So we're going to start off on Google, and I'm going to ask you to Google Gravit. It's Gravit. All right, here it is. We're going to click on that. Now, as we go in, we are not creating an account here. So there are going to be times it's going to ask you to create an account, but you're either going to click up here on Start Now or down here on Get Started. Either way will work. But again, we are not creating an account. When we get in here, we're going to use our Google credentials to sign us in. So again, we're not worrying about this top part. We're going right down to where it says Google. Click on Google, and we're going to use our standard EastPen login information to get in here. All right, so your standard EastPen password. All right. Now, once we get in, we're going to put in the width and the height of our design. So it's going to be 8 inches by 6 inches. And a very common mistake, which really messes things up here, you see where that says PX? You need to change it to inches. Otherwise, it's going to totally mess you up. So 8 by 6 inches, and then click Create. Now, once you get in here, this white piece of paper is showing you the exact size that the piece of wood is that we're going to cut your project. All right, so let's get the workspace and design space set up. Going to come up here to the rectangle tool, and I am going to just draw any random size rectangle on a piece of paper. Okay. I'm then going to come up over here to the right, and I'm going to change this to 7 inches by 5 inches. All right, and if the numbers are giving you trouble there, it might be this little center button's clicked, so you want that to be unclicked. All right, so keep that so it's empty there. 7 inches by 5, then come straight down to where it says fills. And we're just going to change that to 0%. All right, then come down below it to borders. Click on the little plus next to borders. And go from 1 PT, which stands for point, we're going to make it 2 PT. All right. Now, I'm now going to select that rectangle. So I clicked on it. And we need to center it on the workspace. So I'm going to come up to Modify and Align. And I'm going to have to do this twice because I'm going to have to do Align Center and then Modify Align. And this time I'm going to do Align Middle. All right. And that puts it right in the center of your page. Then on the left-hand side here, you see where it says the rectangle. I'm just going to click on the lock button, and that is going to lock it in place so I don't move it around as I'm working. All right, next up, I'm coming up to this text tool up here. All right, and I want to add some text. So this is where I need to write first and last name. So write your first and last name right here. Okay. And one more chunk of text over here on this side. This is where we need to put in our identifying periods. So your period is period 4, period 5, and then dot. Your quarter, first period, second, third, fourth period, dot. And then I want to know your teacher that's on your schedule. So is Mr. Toth on your schedule or is Mr. Kohler on your schedule? T for Toth, K for Kohler. And this right here is our beginning setup, our initial setup. The black rectangle is our design space. All right, and let's start to save this up so that we're not going to lose it, because the worst thing that happens is you work on it and then you lose it, right? So you're going to go up to File, down to Save to Cloud As, and in here, what I want you to do is I want you to write your first and last name, all right? And then I want you to design number 1. So I wrote Chris Kohler, design number 1, and then save. So that just saved it as Chris Kohler design number 1. And you know it worked if up on the right-hand side of the screen here, you see where I am up over here, right up over here. If it says it, you know it worked. Now I want to go back and do this again. So I'm going to go File, Save to Cloud As. And I want to create a second copy. So I'm just going to change that 1 to a 2. So Chris Kohler design number 2. And we're going to do that one last time. So again, it came up here on the upper right, so we know everything worked. File, Save to Cloud As, Chris Kohler design number 3, save. And again, it should come up over here on the right, so we know we did everything correctly. So that is the first steps of the project.